Welcome to Google Ads Unleashed, the podcast that helps you harness the power of Google Ads to increase sales for your online business. In an ever-changing Google Ads landscape, we uncover the latest strategies, techniques, and best practices for creating effective ad campaigns that deliver real results. And now your host, Jeremy Young.
Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Google Ads Unleashed, guys. So today I'm going to be talking about something that's rather interesting, and that is whether search ads actually work for e-commerce businesses. Because something that I get quite a lot is from, let's say, amateurs or from people who maybe are not that familiar with Google Ads, is once we build out accounts and we sort of scale accounts to a limit where at some point there's just a natural search sort of ceiling. There aren't many more people in, let's say, the UK who search for what one of our clients is offering. You know, you have to think of it this way. There's only so many people out there who know what your product is or will search for it. Of so many people click on your ads. Of so many people add to cart. Of so many people get to the checkout stage. Of so many people actually buy. The drop-off is huge, right, of each sort of step. And it also, of course, depends on how popular sort of your product is. But generally speaking, that is where a point is reached where a lot of my clients sort of say, what about search ads? Should we try search ads? Or why hasn't this been tried before? What's the deal? And realistically, what I always think the reason is because that was how Google Ads has been in the past, sort of, 15, 20 years of its existence, right? Search is sort of the OG. That is where everything has started and everything has come from. And a lot of Google Ads, even in my own course, is sort of taught still this way, right? Sort of a lot keyword based, because naturally, I was compared to learning how to, you have to walk before you run, right? When you learn something new. And if you know the fundamentals of search, and if you understand how search campaigns work, then understanding shopping, PMAX, and all of these other fancy campaign types becomes just a lot easier. But yeah, I think it's because a lot of sort of search has been sort of impregnated into, is that the right word? I don't even know, put into people's brains, and they want to then trial search. And the reason why we don't usually start accounts with search campaigns is there's obviously one exception to which I'll get later, but the reason for it is because it's not designed for shopping, right? That's just the reality of the situation. Search ads were obviously the first type of ads that existed, and I'm still a dinosaur. I'm back. I remember the times when you had manual search campaigns, or when you had sort of 2 or 3 pence clicks because you were the only one in the auction, and that's literally the minimum you had to pay. And what Google realized over time is that although search ads are great, they lack certain features which a lot of e-commerces like us, like people who deal with e-commerce businesses who sell products online, they lack a lot of features which are essential in the purchase process and in the decision process when someone wants to purchase, right? Now for us, of course, shopping ads are ubiquitous, but what people don't really think about is why they exist, right? And they exist because they have the following advantages over search campaigns. First of all, you see a little picture of what you're actually about to buy. So first of all, if you actually have the intent of purchasing something online and you're doing your research, let's say you have in your head, bed for children's bedroom, and in your head, you know exactly what you want, something like maybe something made from teak, and it's meant to be just a single bed or something like that. Or for instance, you've got the classic sort of children's racing car thing in your head, and that's what you want to buy. Well, when you see the little picture, you actually know what you're going to purchase and you click on it, right? So that was one of the elements. It sort of pre-qualifies the user through them knowing already what they are expecting on a landing page. They don't have the same with search, right? On a search ad, although you have now image extensions, and that's great, you usually end up on a collection page where there's a lot of products, so you're not actually getting directly to the product, but rather you you lack a little bit of context, right? You might be clicking on a search ad and you land on a collection page and might not be at all what you actually wanted to buy, or what you sort of wanted to have. So it has that one advantage, and one I also revealed just now is that it leads people directly to the product page. Shopping ads go directly to the product page, so they cut out an essential step in the purchasing funnel, and that is people trying to decide what they actually want. So there's an interesting thing in digital marketing, or in the marketing in general. It's called the choice paradox. I'm not really sure whether I'm going to sort of recite this correctly now, but basically it goes as follows. It's the illusion that people want a choice. When presented with the options, right? Do you want to have a choice of something, or do you want just be given something? People always want to have a choice, right? They think they want to have a choice, but in reality, people are much more inclined to make a choice if something is presented to them, rather than when they are presented with too many options. Think of it when you went to study, right? How many courses are out there? I mean, it's amazing. You can study anything in the world, but it paralyzes you. There's too many choices. You don't know what you're going to do. And there's been famous experiments made as well with, again, don't quote me on this, but I'm hoping to recite. There've been experiments done on shops, like pop-up shops, and basically they sold the same jam, right? And in one store they had 25 different jams, and in one store they just had 3 jams, and that was it. And more or less they tried to figure out which store is going to make more revenue, the one where the choice is just made for the consumer, or the one where they have multiple choices. And in the end, it turns out the one with fewer choices is what made more money. And how does this relate now back to shopping ads? Of course, it's because the choice is made for you, right? If something is presented, like a little image is presented to you, and this is the product, and for instance, very often we try to push the best sellers, of course, with shopping ads, right? To get users to purchase, then they are much more likely to purchase. And again, like I said, it cuts out that essential step of being on a collection page with 20, 30, hundreds of products where people then choose, and instead the choice is made for them. And another thing which I just mentioned is, of course, it cuts out that stage of the funnel. So naturally, add to cart rates are a lot higher, etc., etc. So another interesting thing why shopping was invented is that it contains information which users need in order to make a purchasing decision. Okay, so again, search got a lot better over the years, of course. I've already talked about image extensions, but I also want to mention at this point, like something like price extensions, or something like structured snippets, which give a little bit more context to, for instance, the price of the product. But essentially, the shopping ad does a lot better job of sort of telling a user in very, very little in very little steps what they need to make a purchasing decision. Yeah, so is this thing on offer? Is there a discount code? Is there free shipping? What's the price of the product? Is it, even that qualifies the user, right? If someone is more affluent, and Google tracks this sort of stuff as well, do you click on more stuff that's higher, cheaper or expensive, then you obviously are more qualified, and you actually know what, you already in your mind made up, okay, this is a price I'm willing to pay. I'm going to click on this ad and see what this product is about. Also, it gives information about the brand, for instance, which brand the product is. And the product title also gives you a little bit of information about what the product is. Of course, it's very important for advertisers like us to optimize it for the correct searches, etc., etc. And another advantage of shopping campaigns is, generally speaking, they are a little bit cheaper. The clicks of them are a little bit cheaper because more or less the conversion rates are for e-commerce naturally a bit lower. So Google sort of corrects for that a little bit, because with the sort of lead gen businesses, as a rule of thumb, you would probably expect something north of 5% if you can. I know this is a massive generalization now, but basically I'm just trying to sort of give absolute averages of sort of the client base and my experience of clients that I've dealt with, and I've seen hundreds if not thousands of accounts. And generally speaking, the e-commerce conversion rate always hovers between 1% to 3%, right? So in order to generate positive return on ad spend, Google naturally has to make the shopping prices a tiny bit lower than others. So that's why shopping was invented, right? So to make the funnel a little bit shorter, to generate a bit more better conversion rates, to qualify the user better. The user already knows when I click on the shopping ad to that I'm going to make a purchasing decision now. They know the price, they've seen the little photo which they might like, they've maybe read the title which they like, or the description of the product, they've seen an offer, they've seen free shipping, etc., etc. So generally speaking, that's why search ads don't really work as well for e-commerce businesses. So there are exceptions to this now though, okay? So that's why I would recommend maybe not starting with search, but it's something that you should maybe entertain further down the line. When does search work? So it works really well if your store generally has a really high conversion rate, right? And if you have category pages which are very well designed and sort of reflect quite accurately what people are searching for. Example, what I mean by this. So for instance, it's not going to work for, let's say you sell t-shirts, okay? But you're not going to be having one category just for men's t-shirt and then trying to run a search campaign for men's t-shirt. But rather, you might have a category page with, let's say, dinosaur prints, let's say, and if someone searches dinosaur prints for t-shirts for men, and you have a category page that reflects that really, really exactly, then search is actually workable, right? So that is one case, of course. So it just has to be super a really good store, really good products, and it has to be very, I should say, very relevant for the search queries that you're trying to target. That is one instance where search can work. Another instance where it can work pretty well is just simply is by using DSA campaigns instead, so dynamic search ads. If you don't know what they are at this point, I would just recommend listening to my episode about dynamic search ads. Basically, they are really, really handy in sending users again to an exact landing page, and as a result, you will, cut out that sort of funnel step again, and as a result, they convert really well too. Okay. So another thing that you might want to try with your search campaigns in order to make them work is to use broad match. Oh my god, broad match. It used to be really crap, but nowadays we're trying more and more with broad to see if it works, and the more we test, we see actually the power and the potential that this match type brings with it. So this is something that I would highly recommend you test for all of your category pages if you want to be running search ads. because it can generate slightly lower CPCs, and it goes a little bit more for the intent of the user, and sometimes it can work extremely well. Another issue with search ads is that naturally if you run performance max campaigns and have asset groups completely filled out, then naturally you will see that search doesn't actually deliver as often. The reason for that is relatively straightforward. It's because PMax takes precedence over search, and it'll sort of steal away that traffic a little bit. So again, that might be a reason why search also doesn't work that well for e-commerce businesses at times. Just another thing that another wrench I want to throw in the works here. Now I think I've covered everything in that regard. Now I want to talk about something that's actually super, super interesting, where search can be really, really powerful for brands. So I've actually started with something really interesting before, where I said, if you think back to my example, I sell a certain product, and this product is only sought after a couple of times in a couple of hundred or 1,000 times in the UK per day. Of that many people click on your ad, of that many people only add to cart, of that many people initiate the checkout, of that many people purchase, right? So you'll always have a certain ceiling with Google Ads where you can't scale more, and then it sort of becomes more a thing of trying to make your funnel more efficient in order to generate the same result but with the same advertising spend, and sort of just generate better return on ad spend. But this is a situation that we're in with a lot of clients very often. And they're saying to us, can we spend more? And we're like, well, we're kind of really scaled all of the shopping campaigns to a limit, or the performance max campaign now to a limit where we literally cannot spend more because there's not more people searching for our stuff, right? And if you think about this it all sort of it can be encapsulated in a very, very famous and well-renowned marketing concept, and that is sort of the stages of awareness. If you ever heard of that, the stages of awareness in marketing. So this one goes sort of a little bit like this. So if you think about your business, right, the people who are most aware of your product are obviously the ones that are your customers, right? They know of your product and know what it does, and they have purchased it already, and they might be recommending it to others, etc., etc. Then if you go one removed of that, these are the people who are aware of your product, so they may have seen your ad before. They know it exists and they're aware of what it does, but they might not be fully convinced yet. They've not purchased yet, but they know what your brand is, they know what your product is, etc., etc. Then if you go actually a little bit further removed from that, then you get people who are aware that a product exists, right? Let's say, for instance, they know that a desk exists, yeah, and that's something that they are looking for, but they are not specifically aware of the product or your brand, right? So that's sort of one little step removed of the awareness in your brand funnel. So they know what a desk is, they know the solution, they know what it does, right? But they are not aware of your product or your brand yet, and they don't know what your product solves. And more or less, Google Ads is literally a channel that taps into this area, right? It taps into the area of people who know the solution to their problem and are searching for it actively on Google, or they search for the product specifically, or your brand specifically, right, in order to purchase, because they know what the product does, they know what your brand does, etc., etc. The issue with this type of awareness is that, or these stages, is that it's very limited, right? And that is exactly the ceiling that I said before. At some point, there's not more people searching for your product on Google, right? So that is where it becomes interesting, because one removed from the solution is aware is the stage of problem awareness, right? So these are people who know that they have a problem that they need to solve, but aren't aware of any solutions, no brand and no product that can solve their problem yet. And with Google Ads, this translates to search volume, different search volume, right? So people search for different things when they are in this phase. And unfortunately, shopping ads are really, really bad to capture this sort of area of the funnel, right? Of the sort of buying journey of any user to find your brand. Shopping is very good for the solution and product awareness, right? Someone searches for a product, and if your feed and your ads are good, then Google will match it to this user, right? And done. But if someone just searches for the problem, how do we capture them then? Okay. Of course, then there's another stage that's unaware. That means people aren't even aware of their desire or their problem, right? So they have no problem. They didn't even know that this product exists or that this problem exists. And in the end, for problem awareness and at the unawareness stage, that is where channels such as TikTok, Meta, etc. are good. Where people, discover something where they didn't even know that they needed it, right? So that's kind of a mastery level of marketing that Google Ads isn't really designed to tackle. But the problem awareness funnel, that is very good. And I'm going to try to illustrate this with an example now. So we are looking after a client right now. We're not allowed to say their names, but basically they sell a product that... it's a very specific sort of massage product that can solve back pain and neck pain issues, okay? So there are a lot of, it does really well, and we're doing really well on Google as well. And what we've now sort of reached is the stage where we can't really scale more with our PMAX campaigns and our shopping campaigns, because we're at the stage of compromising our return on ad spend for volume. And at the moment, we're like at this perfect equilibrium where we're spending just the right amount to generate, to really hoover up all these people who are aware of the product and search and purchase, and who are aware of the solution like this product and click the ads and purchase. And basically, this is sort of the pool of people now where we have a real problem to actually scale this account a bit further, because there's only so many people in Britain who know this product and actually search for it on a daily basis. But there's a ton of search volume in the problem awareness stage, where people don't even know that this product is the solution to their problem, that we haven't tapped into yet. So there's a ton of people who search for, I have neck pain, what do I do? Or I have back pain, what do I do? I have fibromyalgia, I think is the word. I have, what do I do? I have lumbago, what do I do? Solutions to lumbago, etc. So they are aware of their problem, but they are not aware of the solution yet. So at this stage is where we tap in with search ads. We analyze those problem fields, because there are a lot of problem fields before people actually sort of transcend to the solution product awareness. And we try to capture the search volume with usually broad keywords and search campaigns, but we don't send people straight to the product. We send them to a page that programs them for that the product is the solution to their problem. And these pages are so-called pre-sale pages or advertorials. So this is something I'm going to tap into at a later stage, but this is sort of mastery level of Google Ads, where you have to really combine, perfect copywriting, really understanding your user, really understanding their pain points, really understanding the problems that they have, really understanding what sort of things they look for on Google in order to solve their problem, etc., etc. And I know this was a long-winded explanation, but basically this is actually one of the only few really, really powerful and strong use cases for search ads, and through which we've found to scale our accounts as well, our clients' accounts, because we can tap into this problem awareness stage, which shopping is not designed for. We do this with shopping a little bit, maybe with sort of, some optimization of the product titles, but it's not as effective as search campaigns and advertorials. So I just want to conclude on another final note next to DSA campaigns. Of course, your branded search campaigns. I've done a full episode on that as well. If you want to listen back, is something that you should always deploy in your account, and it works perfectly well. But going back to your original question, is search good for e-commerce? The broad answer is no. The very long-winded answer is it depends drastically on the category pages on your website and the strength of your brand, etc., your conversion rate, the relevance of your category pages in correlation to the search volume that exists for the products on your category pages, and finally whether you have enough marketing brain and enough sort of manpower and also patience to test advertorials with search campaigns. Otherwise, I would recommend just stick to your Performance Max campaigns, stick to your shopping campaigns, and that is where you'll see the most results. On this note, thank you very much for listening. If you need help with these advanced strategies, if you need help with sorting out your Google Ads account, or if you need any sort of advice on how to scale your ad accounts if you feel stuck somewhere, just give us a shout. Reach out to jeremy@younganddigital.marketing. Reach out to us on Facebook and Instagram, and we would love to have a chat with you and see if we can help. Have a good week all, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to Google Ads Unleashed. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. If you found value in today's podcast, please share it with others and leave a rating and a review. For more information or to connect with Jeremy, check him out online at www.younganddigital.marketing. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.